Guys, welcome to this video. In this video we are going to create a chat app using laravel. So it's a complete chat application where multiple users can communicate. You can see on the screen I already have 3 windows open. So we are going to use technology like laravel. We are going to use pusher. We are going to use XCOs for requesting on the URL. So let's see how it works. User 2 says, how are you guys? And he sends that message, goes to all of the users and they can say I'm good, and that message goes there too. Now the third user says hey, and then user 3 sends the message and that goes too. So you can see that they can communicate with each other. So this is the app, the result app we are going to create in this video. Alright guys, so the first thing first, we will be using pusher in this project, and for that you need to go into pusher.com and create an account. It's quite simple, just your login details, and after that you will come on this page. In the channel side you will not see laravel chat. It's something I created here, so you will see here something like get started, the way it is showing up on the right. You just simply create the app or click the get started. Basically, if you click the manage as well, you get the option to create a new app. Then there you can see here we have option to create new app. So if I go back, as I already have an app created, so if I click on this one, here we see the options after creation of the app. Now here on the left side you will notice there is an app keys. So when you click there, you're going to get these keys for your app, and these 4 keys you need to copy and have it with you for the project. I'm currently on the Laravel website, and for the installation I'm going to use this composer command. So I'm just going to copy this line of code. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to open terminal, and here I just want to ls first, and there I have the desktop right there. So I just want to create a folder on the desktop. So I just cd desktop, clear the screen, and then I create the project. And I'm going to call this project just simple chat. So chat application. When we do this, it is going to create a folder, and it already did. So we need to wait till it completes. Right, the project is created here. So all I need to do, I need to get into this folder now. So I say here, first I'm gonna clear the screen and then cd chat. Now file is here, so we will get the all project files. So I'm going to use Visual Studio in this video. So here I have the Visual Studio code, and I'm going to open the chat folder in this code editor. Now here, if I go to .env file and scroll down, you could see here the pusher app ID, pusher app key, secret, cluster. So these is the information that we received from pusher website. If you remember, I showed you. So if we go back and go into pusher, we have all these details here. So I'm just going to copy from here, and I'm going to paste here. And then I just want to paste app ID in front of app ID, and without quotes, then key in front of key, and then secret in front of secret, and cluster in front of cluster. Alright, and I'm going to remove this. We're going to use broadcast here. So here, if I scroll up, here it's a broadcast driver. We're going to tell it is going to be pusher. So this is something we need to set, and once this is set from the .env file, we are done, so we can close this file. Now we need to create an event. So for that I'm going to open the terminal, and here I'm going to simply run the command from Laravel. It's php artisan make event, and I'm going to call this event chat. That's it. So it is going to create an event. Now let's go and see in the files here under app events, we have chat.php. Now we need to make a few changes here. For now I'm just gonna do that. So we have here should broadcast. We need to use this interface and we need to implement it on this chat class. So we say here implements and we just pass here they should broadcast right like this. All right, now we scroll down, you will see here two options, broadcast on and constructor. Now in our app we are going to use username and the message, only two things. So we can set those values to the variables using constructor. So for that, all you do whenever we are going to call this event, we are going to pass the values. So it's going to be like user name and dollar message like this, and we can have variable here. So public user name and dollar needs to be there. Set it to empty string, then public dollar message, and then this is also empty string. And in constructor we are going to set those values. So we're going to say dollar this user name. All right, and that's equal to dollar username. And just like this we want to set message. So I'm just gonna do that message, and here as well. All right, now if I scroll down, we have here a private channel. So in this video we don't want to do a private channel, we're just going to do a simple channel so we can have access to it. And here we are going to pass a channel name. So I see here laravel chat, that's the name we are going to call it. Now also we need to create another function and we need to say broadcast as. So let's create that. So I simply say public function, and it is going to be broad, and C stays lowercase, and then A capital, broadcast as. And then here we need to return something. So I need to return a string here. You can call it anything. I'm going to call it chatting. All right, so this is it for our event, and we have a channel created, and we also have broadcast as assigning chatting. Now here we have username and message, and we also added the should broadcast. Now let's first have our app up. So here I simply say PHP artisan serve, and this is going to give us the development server up, and here is the URL for it, the URL. So you can see our Laravel app is here. So we don't want this, we want our chat app. So we need to make a few changes. So I go simply here, and currently this view is coming from welcome.blade. So I go here in routes, we have the welcome.blade showing this view. So we go in resources, views, and welcome.blade. First of all, I'm going to change the name of this file. I'm going to call this one, instead of welcome, it's going to be the home page. So home.blade. And if we change here, you need to change here too. So it's going to be home there. Now inside there, I'm going to delete everything. So Control Alt Delete. It is empty now. So if I go back, refresh, it's blank. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get here HTML scaffolding. So here we have HTML, and here we need to create our content. So for this, we are going to use Bootstrap. So I'm going to go here, bootstrapcdn.com, you can see here, and we can copy the CDN. The latest version is here. So what we do, we simply go back here, I create a link, and here in href we need to pass the bootstrap, and in rel it's style sheet. Type is not necessary, remove that. For title we can call it Laravel chat. All right, so we have Bootstrap now. So as we have Bootstrap, we can put some content here. So simply as a div with the class of Jumbotron. You can skip the per designing part if you want to. It's gonna take, I think, some time. So let's get to it. It's just a class from Bootstrap that gives some styling. Here I'm going to pass text center and margin top 8. Inside it I'm going to pass h1, and I'm going to say here Zarks base app chat. Alright, so it should be fine. Now let's get to the form. So here I put HR, and then I'm going to create a div with the class of container, and here inside contain we can pass here m8 margin 8, and then it's going to have a div with the class of row, and here I want to have another div with the class of call md6, and inside we need to create another class. So it's going to be div first, and then I want to add a class of cod. Alright, then div with the class of cod body. Now inside it we want to have a form, so I'm going to create a form here, and alright, now we want here message mainly. So what are we going to do? First I'm going to create a div. I'm going to give it an ID, and it's going to be message output. So whatever messages we are going to save, we're going to show in this div, and we can put it even outside of this form on top of this, like here. And here inside it I'm going to create div with class of form group, and then input. And this is the field where we pass the message, and it's going to be type text. Then we have class of form control. Alright, and we want to give it a ID so that we can target it. I give it ID of message, and also I want to pass here a placeholder, so it simply says message. Alright, now we need a button, so we pass here a button, and we can pass here type. It's going to be submit, and then it's going to have a class so that it looks a little bit better. So it's BDN success, and for the text I will say send here, so that button shows send. This is going to be our form. Let's see how it looks. So we go back there and refresh, and it looks like this. Now we have it all together. Let's make it correct. So here we can pass some margin bottom 3, and yeah, that's how it should be. The same way you're gonna pass this margin to here. Now it looks better now. We can give it a class for extra small, and I can make it this way, and we might we can give it a margin as well, so margin 8. So let's add a padding, so I add here padding 5. Let's see how it looks. Okay, it's better now. So we pass the message, the output will display on top here, and we can pass here HR to show the difference. So output going to be on the top of this. Alright, so design wise this is totally fine for us. Now in this home we have the we need to do one thing. If I go to the files, here we have in the resources we have CSS folder, and where we have app.css, currently it is empty. The same way we have JS folder where we have app.js and bootstrap.js. So if I go to app.js, it is including bootstrap.js, and you can include multiple files here, and those are going to be compiled when we run the npm command, and I'm going to show you in a moment. Now we have currently Bootstrap, so if we go inside Bootstrap, we can see here what options we have. So we have Lodash getting loaded here, we have XCOs, we have the pusher settings here, configuration. So if what we do, we uncomment this, and basically we are importing it, and after that we are using our pusher key here for the window echo, and this helps us to deal with the pusher. So this needs to be uncommented, and this file needs to be saved. So I saved it already. Now we need to install a few packages. So first install those, because we have here laravel echo, we need to install it. Pusher.js, we need to install it too. So let's do that. So in the terminal, all right. If you have the laravel mix installed, then fine. If not, you simply can run this command, npm install laravel mix latest. I'm running this just to make sure things work for me. And after that, we are going to run laravel echo. That is also going to be from npm. So for running npm commands, you need Node.js installed in your system. So make sure if you face any issue like npm not found, so make sure you have Node installed. Right, it installed. I clear the screen. Now another is the laravel echo. I'm gonna install this. Again, clear the screen. Now we need to install pusher. So I have npm command here. So I'm just gonna run this, npm I save. I stands for install. Now pusher is installed. I clear this again. Now this time we need to run a composer command for pusher, and I'm gonna install it as well. So these all commands are the detail in the description. You can follow the link and copy the commands from there. I'm gonna clear the screen, so all the required packages are there now. So what we need to do, we need to go in here, and we have these files I showed you in the resource CSS, app CSS, and these. If I go in public folder, and currently in public folder, if you notice, we have only these five files, nothing else. But I'm going to run a command here, which is going to go with webpack mix, and what it is going to do, basically it is going to compile and put the JS file in public folder, as well as it is going to put the CSS file in public folder. And we need it because it compiles all the JS and all the CSS. So let's do that. So npm, and it's going to be run dev. So it's doing it. You can see development mix, it's mixing it. It did. Now this time if you go here, you can see that in public we have CSS, and here we have app.css. Currently we don't have any CSS, so it's empty. That's all right. In JS we have app.js, and you can see there is something JS content there. We don't need to work on this one, but basically I compiled it and added here. Now we need to include these files. So what we need to do, I go in home.blade. Make it a little bigger here. So on top here, I'm going to say link. All right, and link going to be href here. It's going to be dot dash and then css slash app.css. All right, and they're all going to be style sheet. Type is not required. So we save it like this. Now scroll down, where the body ending, we need to add a script as well, because we need to include JS, and here dot here it's going to be JS, and then app.js. All right. So the compiled CSS and JS will be included by these two line of code. So this is important. We will be using it very soon. So currently Bootstrap here, we don't need to do anything. We are going to close it. And if I go back here, we have app.js. Here we can create or include further files. So for this particular project, what we do, I'm going to create another file here, and I'm going to call this file chat.js. Now when I call chat.js, just like Bootstrap here we did, we need to include this chat.js in our app. So here, app.js, I'm gonna copy this, and just gonna say here, chat. All right, now I go here, I simply say here, alert, hello. All right, now, yes, it is included there, and we are including the compiled version, so we need to run the npm command. So here we run that. So I simply say again, npm run dev. And we have no error here. Let's go to browser and refresh. We get hello. So this is coming from chat.js. So let's deal with this. Here what we need to do now, we have a form and we need to get the input from user. So let's do that. So first of all, I want to get the values here. So first of all, we need to get all these elements, and I'm also going to give the ID to this form. So it's going to be chat form. So let's do this. We go in here simply I'm going to say constant, and this is going to be the message element where we are going to append all the messages. Then I want another constant. This is going to be user message input. So whatever message user types, we can pass here. Then they're going to be constant again, and it's going to be send message. All right, send message is going to be the button. So we can say button here. So let's get this. So here simply document dot get element by ID, and we need to pass the ID. So let's go back here. This one is message element, so it's a message output here. So just gonna pass that here. All right, and then we need to go back here for the button. We can use chat form because we are dealing with the form here, so we can change it to form and simply copy this here as well as here. We can cut this and paste inside it. All right, now the user input is the input field, which is message, so we pass message here. All right, now I want to pass the username in URL. So when a user goes for chat, they're going to be question name equals let's say Roger, something like this, and user will be for each user it's going to be different. Or you can add an input field if you want to, it's totally up to you, but I'm going to use this way. So what I'm going to do for that, I'm going to say here let URL, and we're going to get the URL, so it's going to be window.location. all right, so this is how you get it. Now once you have window.location, you can pass it into new URL. So I'm going to pass it like this, URL, and here it's going to be let URL, let's call it URL new. Okay, and then here at last we're going to get the name. So here needs to be let name, and that's going to be URL name dot search params dot get name. So it's going to get the name out of the URL. So this is how you get the username. All right, so here what I'm going to do, I'm going to say get this and add an event to the listener. So here we're going to pass this dot add event, and it's going to be capital E, event listener. Just make sure the spellings are correct. We'll check the submit. event, and after that we can pass a function or arrow function, whatever you prefer. And here in this case I just want normal function. Here I say prevent default, so that page won't refresh. And when we click on the form submit, so here I want to get the value, so I check here if user passing something. So here we have input message, so we need to make sure that this field is not empty. So user message input, we're going to check if equals to empty. If not equals to empty, then we want to proceed. And here I'm going to call xuse, and here in xuse we are going to simply pass an object, and this object going to be the details method, and method going to be post, so and then going to be URL, because we are passing value to this URL. So I want to create a route for this, so I simply say here send message, and that's going to be the URL for us, data, and data, for that we need to call here username, which is the name we are getting from URL here. And the second thing we want to pass is message. All right, and then it's going to be the message we are getting, message input. And I noticed a mistake here, we need to pass value. All right, so this is going to be here, dot value is required at the end. Now here it is saying is deprecated, we can call it something else, so we call it user name. So we copy that and paste it here. All right, so that looks good. Xuse, we have access to it, so if we go to the bootstrap, so here you can see that we have the xuse present, so we can use it. So all right, so we are sending you to this URL, the username and the user input, but we are not dealing with that route currently. We don't have this route, so let's create it. We go to web.php. Here I'm going to create a new route. It's going to be route method going to be post, as we are posting data. It's send message, and for this we need to create a controller, so I'm going to create one here. I'm just gonna clear the screen for now, and let me make it big here. So it's PHP artisan make controller, and it's going to be let's call it messages controller. All right, and that's it. So we have this controller now. Let's go for HTTP and controllers, and there it is. Now in here I'm going to create a method, and this method is basically, let's call it index for now, public function index, and here we want to have access to request, $request, and here we want to call the event we created initially. If you remember, we created an event here, the chat event, so we can call it here. So for that, first of all, we need to include it on top on our controller. So I close this, and here we have request. Let's add the event as well. So I call use app /events and /chat. All right, so we can call it, and yeah, inside I'm going to say event, and event going to be the new chat, and that's the class, and we need to pass the data $request, the data we're getting. So here we're gonna say input, and we get user name, and the second value is just gonna copy paste this, and that is message. All right, semicolon. Yeah, it looks good. Now this done, we want to pass something, so I return true for now. Okay, so we see what we need to do here. So for here we need to include it. So we need to call our messages controller here. So it's going to be messages controller. It's a class, and the method we passed here is index. Alright, now we don't have this controller included, so we say here use app http controllers, and then so it's controllers, and after that we have messages controller. So just gonna pause it there. Remove the extra space here. So yeah, so this route is going to go to this controller. This controller is dealing with this event. It's going to fire this event. We have username and message that is going to go, and we get return true. And here we have our form, and from here we are dealing with our form. So here through XUs we are passing it. First of all, we need to compile it. So I open the terminal again, and here npm run dev, and okay, it's done. Let's go to the browser here and refresh, inspect, and I want to have the console log open. So here is the console log. Let's see what happens. We have name as Roger on top. Here we pass anything and hit send. So if we go in our XUs, we are passing the value using XUs here to this URL. And when we go to the browser, we see there that in network it is doing it. It's sending the, and we have 200 response as well. So what I need to do, I need to pass here and I need to check the channel. So for that, what we can do basically, we after we are checking this here, we're gonna say window dot echo, and then we need to check for channel, the channel we created in the event, if you remember. So we need to pass the name of the channel. So we go here, and channel name is laravel chat. So copy that. Then we go back in chat.js plus here, and then we need to listen to if you go back, we said broadcast as chatting, so we need to use this. So we need to go back here, dot chatting. So it's gonna listen to this, and here inside this bracket we are going to fire an arrow function. So what I do, I break it here so it's easy to view, and now here we pass the arrow function, and in this arrow function we're gonna get the response. So I say res to it, and simply I'm gonna pass here console dot log res. All right, so we get the details. So yeah, now okay, this is gonna change. It's echo, and then dot channel laravel channel, and yeah, all looks good now. Now we need to run the compilation. So npm run dev. As you're changing the JS, you need to do it. Go back here, refresh, console log. I'm gonna say, let's say good done you, and you get that. You get the response. So we have message, we have Roger name, so you say Roger there. So yeah, now as we have this, we can work with it to display it. So how we do it? So basically, if you remember on top, we have the message element. So I'm just going to copy this, and I'm going to call it here, and then I'm going to say dot inner HTML. All right, and we want to append, so we can append like this, and we want to create a div. So simply going to create a div here. All right, inside it, let me I'm going to create a strong tag. Strong. And here we are going to pass the username. So strong. And then I pass span. So it's not going to autocomplete as it is inside a string. So now here we can break it, and we can say res dot. Now if we see here, we have object and then username, so we can call username there. So res dot username, and then the same way we have the message. So the same way we can do that too. So just copy this and paste in between span, and here it's gonna be message. All right, and yeah, it will make it look better. So what else we need? We need to make sure that when the user types the message, this input gets empty automatically. So for that, all we need to do is this message, we get it at the end. Here we can say dot value empty, so it gets empty. And what else? Okay, let's see what happens. So we go back here, refresh, and I pass the message good on you, and we don't have it. Okay, I changed the chat .js, and as you change it, you need to compile it. So I forgot to do that. Recompile it, compiled, go back, refresh. Now here, good and you have the message. We can target this, so we can even call here class, you could say username. Now if you want to pass username or CSS variable, you add it. So this is the time when we go in our resource app.css here, we can pass this, and here it is going to be compiled this time. So we can say here text transform and capitalize, save that. Now as this CSS file needs to be compiled as well, we again run compilation command npm run dev. Now if I go back, refresh, so I say here hi, send, we have Roger hi. Now let's change the name to, let's change it Manu. Now when I say hello, and you can see that it's coming there. So we have Roger hi, hello. Yeah, it's working as expected. So yeah, the first message is not showing here because it was done before opening this browser. So yeah, it's working just fine. You can style it more better if you want to. You can download the code zip is in the description. If you like the video, do subscribe, share with others. All the required documentation is available in the description. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video. If you like the content of this channel and you want me to create more videos like this, please support me on Patreon. You can also subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share with others. Thank you for watching.